Malcolm and Jean Hunter both grew up in surprisingly similar Christian families, with one girl and 3 boys who endured the disruption of war when both of their fathers were called up to serve in the Royal Air Force. Engineering, nursing, Bible training, plus other experiences filled their lives before sailing out by ship in 1963, proving that God is always ahead of them, preparing the way. The first 10 years of their lives in Africa involved the usual learning of language, teaching in Bible schools, teacher training colleges, building projects, development work, and working in the various medical facilities of hospitals, clinics, etc. In between these normal activities, Malcolm began trekking out with national evangelists to discover the distant people where there were no churches or Christians. At first, these were all settled Highland people, whose stories appear in several chapters in this book. When Malcolm returned to Ethiopia from the first furlough after 5.5 years, imagining his joy when the church leaders said, "We can now say that every valley and village in our tribe has heard the gospel, and we're ready to go with you to those other tribes down in the lowlands you keep telling us about." Those were the nomadic peoples, warring, stealing each other's cattle, killing anybody who tried to stop them. Malcolm and Jean retired from ministry in Ethiopia in the year 2000. Since then, Malcolm concentrated on global outreach to nomads through the Nomadic Peoples Network, founded in the late 80s. A gathering of those who are called to work amongst nomads meets together every 3 years, telling their stories and learning from each other. This is the most effective way we have found to train new workers for ministry to nomads, certainly not in a classroom. The latest venture in 2018 was a purpose-built overland truck, chartered from a commercial company in England. Potential recruits were invited to travel with mentors as a mobile classroom. This book tells some of the ways God moved ahead of Malcolm and Jean and the adventures he led them into, but with a minimum of biographical detail. This one is all for his glory. Malcolm is currently working on a second book, giving an account of their family adventures in Africa. It will be an auto and dual biography from both Malcolm and Jean's perspectives. It may take a year or 2, but with God's help, one day you'll be able to read how all their 4 children were born in Ethiopia, for which they are grateful, but are not so happy about having to go to boarding school. By God's grace and the care of good dorm parents, they survived that. A communist revolution and civil wars in Sudan, they all love and serve Him in their individual ways. Finally, they gave Malcolm and Jean 12 grandchildren to love and spoil. A final word from Jean. Malcolm, at 81 years old, still has the same zest and passion to follow Jesus to the ends of the earth, but his body is finding it harder and harder to keep up with his vision.